Okay, here's something weird. Every animal on this planet eats raw food, and they're fine. Wolves eat raw meat, gorillas eat raw leaves, even our closest relatives, chimpanzees, never cook a single meal in their lives. But why can't we survive on a completely raw, wild diet? After a few months, you'd be losing weight, losing energy, and your body would essentially start shutting down. What happened to us? Why are humans the only species that literally needs a kitchen to survive? In today's topic, we will explore these questions. And to do that, we need to travel 2 million years back in time. And it all starts with a fire. Just before we dive in, again, real shortly, it would mean so much for me when you would subscribe, like, and support this channel. It helps me grow and it helps us to grow as a community and to deliver the best I can. But now, let's start. The raw food problem. Did you know that gorillas spend about 8 hours a day eating? 8 hours every day. Just chewing. Yep, you heard right, because raw food is really hard to digest. Your body burns a huge amount of energy just breaking it down. And after all that work, you still don't get that many calories out of it. This is the trap that every animal on Earth is stuck in. Eat constantly just to survive. Barely enough energy left over for anything else. Our ancestors were in the exact same trap. Until they weren't. About 2 million years ago, somewhere in Africa, one of our ancestors, Homo erectus, did something no other animal had ever done before. They put food on fire. Nobody knows exactly how it happened. Maybe it was an accident or a piece of meat fell into the flames. They tried it anyway, and it tasted better. But let's look at this from a biological perspective. When you apply heat to food, something remarkable happens. The tough fibers break down, the proteins unfold, the starches soften. The fire is basically doing the digestive work before the food even enters your mouth. Think of it this way. Your stomach is a machine, and cooking is like preloading the machine before it even starts. A raw potato has calorie in it, but your body can barely access them. Cook the same potato and suddenly you can extract dramatically more energy from it. Same food, same calories on paper. Completely different result in your body. Fire became an external stomach, and that changed everything for us. Suddenly, our ancestors had access to way more energy than before, without eating for 8 hours a day. And your body, being the incredible efficient machine that it is, had to decide what to do with all that extra energy. Your brain makes up about 2% of your body weight, but it consumes roughly 20% of all the calories you eat every single day. For millions of years, that was simply too expensive. Our ancestors couldn't afford a big brain because all their energy was going toward digestion. But now they had a surplus, and so the body made a trade. This is called the expensive tissue hypothesis. And it basically says this: your body can't afford to run both a massive digestive system and a massive brain at the same time. So it had to choose. And it chose the brain. Over hundreds of thousands of years, the human got shrunk significantly. Compared to other primates, our digestive tract is surprisingly small because we outsource the hard work of digestion of fire. And the brain, it exploded in size. Homo erectus had a brain about 60% of the size of yours. By the time we get to more than humans, the brain had nearly doubled. And your jaw got smaller too, because you no longer needed to chew raw, tough food for 8 hours a day. Smaller gut, smaller jaw, bigger brain. All because someone put meat in a fire 2 million years ago. This relationship between humans and cooking is so old and so fundamental that it has actually changed our DNA. Take saliva, for example. Humans have a gene called AMY1. It produces an enzyme called salivary amylase, which starts breaking down starches the moment food enters your mouth. Chimpanzees have this gene too, but with significantly more copies of it than they do. Why? Because we evolved eating cooked starches. Bread, potatoes, rice, cooked roots. Our bodies got so good at processing these foods that we literally evolved to handle them better at a genetic level. But there's a downside to this. Because our bodies adapted so completely to cooked food, we actually lost the ability to thrive without it. Studies on people who attempted strict raw food diets long term show consistent results: weight loss, fatigue, and, in women specifically, a significant percentage stop menstruating entirely. Because their bodies simply cannot extract enough energy from raw food to maintain basic biological functions. Every other mammal on Earth can survive on raw wild food indefinitely. We cannot. We became creatures that are biologically dependent on cooking to survive. We didn't just discover fire. Fire changed what we are. But there's more to this. The same evolutionary trick that gave us our big brains and made us the most intelligent species on the planet is now kind of working against us. Look, for 2 million years, the problem was simple. Not enough calories, food was hard to find, hard to digest. Every calorie mattered. So our bodies evolved to be incredibly efficient at extracting and storing energy. Because in the wild, you never knew when your next meal was coming. And then we invented supermarkets. Suddenly, calories are everywhere. Cheap, processed, engineered to be as easy to digest as possible. Ultra-processed foods are essentially the logical extreme of what cooking started. Food so broken down and pre-processed that your body barely has to do any work at all. And our ancient, efficient bodies have no idea what to do with abundance. The same biological machinery that allowed our ancestors to survive famines is now contributing to obesity, metabolic disease, and diabetes on a massive scale. In the end, we can say that we hacked biologically 2 million years ago with a campfire. But now, we're living with the consequences of what that hack in a world our bodies were never designed for. So, next time you cook a meal, remember what you're actually doing. You're not just making food taste better, you're continuing a 2 million year old tradition that built the human brain. That separated us from every other species on this planet. That quite literally made us who we are.